Charlotte Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5-7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars. Welcome to Week 12. Welcome to Championship Night and another edition of the Coast to Coast Racing League. Houston Speedway is our destination for the final week of the regular season, and tonight we'll determine our 3 champions on Monday Night Madness, brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Of course, as always, we'll be with the Open 358 Modified, which has pretty much figured out the champion, with Sam Bachman over Joseph Grandi coming on in. The Rebels, very tight still, a little bit tougher to determine, as Stephen Fernberg, Brian Moore Sr. will go at it for the championship there. That battle, once again, is 644 to 613, 20-31 points separate the two. And finally, in Renegades, Blake Chapman, 1 race away from another Renegades ring. We're glad you could join us here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Marty Sakala with you. Thanks for joining us. It's been a fun season so far of action. A lot of tight action, a lot of packed action, but Houston Speedway, a track not a lot of drivers obviously have a lot of experience, as it's the latest track in iRacing, so we'll have to see where things stand. But of course, as we get set for Open 358s, which are brought to you by Venom Racing and Full Throttle Motorsports, your top 2 in the points has Sam Bachman, currently up by, I believe if I'm doing my math correctly, 43 points on Joseph Grandi, 632 to 589. So it would be a championship for Sam Bachman in the 007. Should he just come out of here with a good result and not DNF. That would pretty much be the case, as we're set to go with qualifying. 18 Open 358s check in this evening. We'll have 3 heats to go as our 2-minute qualifying session underway. How fast of a time can you put up? First driver we'll watch on the racetrack, driver of the Training Wheels Racing, number 83, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer. First lap time here for Dittmer, a track obviously at Houston where this is bottom focused unless you want to try and avoid a lot of traffic in the second groove, maybe the place to go. Dittmer sets the bar here in qualifying. 13.001, Joseph Grandi quicker, 12.958, and the Inferno 5.18. Randall Dixon third, Brian Moore Sr. is fourth. Here comes Grandi off of turn number 4. Does he have a better lap in him? Yes, he does. 12.891 for 100 grand. Here's Dean Reynolds off for turn number 4 to the checkered flag in the pink. 7.90 off the corner, slower on lap 2 to 13.26. Trevor Giroux, the Philly Flyer, third quick on lap number 1, 13.002 for Trevor. He makes his way off for turn number 4. Does he have a better lap in him? It's green in sector 2. Maybe, maybe not. 13.12. Here's slide job Scotty, new paint job for Scott Rayon with the FTM number 4. He's got the dust on his FTM ride. Little homage to how dusty you can get at Houston's on iRacing when we ran the first time. Kelly Wheeler, fifth quick, 13.09 on lap number 1. Here comes Randy Schutz across the line to finish his first lap. And Shreves goes at ninth quickest, 13.11. Sam Bachman, second quick, 12.8991. Needs a tenth to make up on Joseph Grandi for quick time. Does he have it off turn 4? Green in sector 2. It's got to be a lot better. It's not. 13.07 on lap 2. That does it for qualifying. Joseph Grandi is the quickest. Good start here to Championship Monday for 100 grand. So your championship contenders, 1-2. Grandi coming out with a nod, but see, it's Bachman that will have, both of the drivers will have the fourth starting position for our invert when we take the green in heat race number 1. Here we go for Heat 1, brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. Here's a look at the starting lineup. On the pole, Clay Christopherson, putt-putt in the 51. To his outside, it's the Brewer-to-Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. Row number 2, the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux in 75. And to his outside, 100 grand, Joseph Grandi in the 518. Row 3, Harold Klump in the 2. To his outside, it's Rick Main in the 187. And the final car on the grid, Beatdown, Brandon Templeton in the 31. As we're glad you could join us here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, our first race of the night here for Monday Night Madness as we begin championship week, week number 12 of the 2025 Spring iRacing season. We'll have week 13 next week. Not sure yet what the plan is going to be for the fun amount of races. C2CRL.com will be the place to go. Of course, let us know who you're rooting for if you're watching live. Hello to Anthony Morano, rooting for putt-putt in heat race number 1. By the way, check your messages. Check your messages by the end of the night. I'll have something for you, by the way. So nothing yet for week 13 from June 8th to June 12th. Again, for more updates on that, check C2CRL.com. First of 3 heat races. Everyone transfers into the show. Winner starts on pole for the night's 30-lap feature. It's Christopherson and Barker that are set to bring us to green. Heat 1 is underway. Good start for Barker in that 513, but Christopherson fighting back, looking for that race lead. They're side by side off for turn number 4. Lap 1 at the line goes to Barker. Christopherson made some slight contact there underneath for the third spot. Giroux on Joseph Grandi. Putt though. Looking for the race lead as well. Slide job up on Jeff Barker. And the Bird-to-Beast reads it well. They rub Nerf parts. Off the corner, Barker hangs on to the lead. 3 wide for the second spot with Joseph Grandi stuck in the middle. Got crashed behind them, Rick Main and Brandon Templeton. We're still 3 wide for this top spot. Barker with the lead. Now it's 3 wide for second. Grandi in the wall off of contact from the 518. Or for contact from Christopherson to be specific. Giroux caught the Berman 1 and 2. Has to hang on to it. He falls back to 4th now with company for the spot by Harold Klump in just a moment. Grandi quickest car that last time around with a 13.16. The man that started fourth, the quickest in qualifying, looking for that lead on Jeff Barker. You're right on board with him. 3 laps to go. Here he goes for the race lead. Holding his pace downstairs. Barker trying to clear him and play some defense. Slide job by Grandy, and another counter from Jeff Barker. This time it's, I think, Grandy at the line with 2 laps to go. Christopherson trying to get the things like they bang once again down the back. That's just what Barker wants. He hangs on to the race lead for now. White flag waves, final lap underway. Barker keeps the top. Grandy underneath. Christopherson trying to make it 3 wide. Barker trying to defend. He leaves the door open for Joseph Grandy, but can't throw the slider. Checkers way. Barker's on the pole tonight. Had a great finish to Heat 1. Grandy second. Christopherson third. Giroux fourth. Clump fifth. Main in sixth. Brandon Templeton did not take the green flag. And so we are ready to go now for heat race number 2. Heat 2 brought to you by Regency Home Inspections, proud partner of Venom Racing. The Bandit on the pole, Randall Dixon in car number 11. To his outside, it's slide job Scott Rayome in the 4. Row number 2, Dean Reynolds in the 79. I swear that car looks like a Tootsie's paint scheme when I see that. To his outside, it's the Sam Maconda, Sam Bachman in the 007. Final row has Scott Sinacker in the 143. To his outside, it's the 7 of Bob DeGood. New paint job on that modified for the 7 tonight. White flag waves, we go green this time by Morano. We're now rooting for slide job Scotty. Of course, FTM always dominant in this series, that's for sure. In fact, double checking at my records, you've got Bachman with 3, Christopherson with 1, Giroux with 1, Brewer with 1. So they've won 6 of the races this season, if I got my notes correct. I'm sorry, add Morano to that. He's won 8. Green flag out. Heat 2 is underway. And Rayome immediately is cleared to the race lead. Dixon lies in second. Battle for third on between Reynolds and Bachman. Lap 1 led by the FTM Express. Dino riding the lip with the front. Bachman able to clear. Let's ride on board with that pink 79. Bachman catches the wall. Dino trying downstairs again, not working. But the top 5 all pretty much single filed out. Scott Sinacker is faded to the back of the pack right now in 6th. Reynolds' quickest car last time by. Now Bachman catches the wall. Dino trying to take advantage. But still Rayome your race leader as everyone ripping the top of the outside. Halfway home. Gap on Randall Dixon, 0.2 of a second. Here goes Bachman looking for a second. Nearly 3 wide. Dixon catches Rayome, but the 4 clears. And now the Bandit sparks up the wall again. Here comes Reynolds looking for 3rd. Not able to take that spot away. Everyone's still clear. Dixon, wall once again. Trying to go as high as possible, but nope. If you get way too high, Bachman can try and take advantage of it. Up the hill goes the 007. Allows Dino to get side by side for 3rd. White flag waves. Final lap underway. Scott Rayome has led from flag to flag so far. He wants the checkers. He makes his way through turns number 3 and 4. Dixon looking for a shot. Won't come. Rayome wins heat 2. Dixon 2nd. Bachman 3rd. Reynolds 4th to good 5th. And Sinacker 6th. Now moving on to Heat race number 3. Heat 3 brought to you by Maurer Farm Management, and here's the starting lineup. Brian Moore Sr. starts on pole position. He's in the 55. To his outside, it's Randy Shreves in the 56. Row number 2, Kelly Wheeler in the 11. To his outside, it's the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer in the 83. Or, I mean, we could call him the Lobster, too. If you know, you know. Especially Venom Racing. Final row, Bud Molyneux with the 883 to his outside. Good to see him back with us. John DeBias in car number 21. That's your field of 6 for the final heat race of the night. Anthony's keeping the chat alive tonight. Caesar in for Kelly Wheeler. Winner starts inside of row number 2 tonight. Now our 30-lap feature.
Green, green, green.
Set for the green for the final heat race. Here we go. Moore trying to clear with the early race lead as he takes it away. Slides up on Randy Shreves. Brian Moore Sr. in the battle for the Rebels title winner tonight. Leads lap number 1. Brandon Dittmer's going to crack at Shreves for second. The two nearly get together off of turn number 2. Utilize on the bottom. Shreves still edges out Dittmer across the line for second. BD looking really fast right now. Started fourth. Third quickest in qualifying. Gonna have a chance to grab the race lead in just a moment. Trouble in the back, Bud Molyneux around. He's gone to the 883. For the race lead, Dittmer on Brian Moore Sr. Can the training wheels 83 go to the point? Not just yet. Moore hangs on for now. Dittmer really fast hot rod. 13-16 last lap. Quickest car amongst anyone. Underneath on Brian Moore Sr. Can he clear him off for turn number 4? Not just yet at the line. Way too close to call. Shreves and Wheeler watching closely now. Dittmer clears the 558. Well, the 55 is to be corrected. 2 laps to go in heat race number 3. First driver that was the quickest in their heat and has made their way up to the race lead. Final lap underway in the heat race. Checkers wave here in heat 3 as Dittmer takes the win. Moore second, Shreves third, Wheeler fourth, John DeBias fifth, and Bud Molyneux rounds out the field in 6th. And so that does it for heats for the Open 358s. We'll step aside, take our first break of the night. When we come back, it's feature time of the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Welcome back to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Warm-ups continue here, just about to wrap up. Is Brandon Templeton the quickest, 13.067. Joseph Grandy second at a 13.10. Third is Trevor Giroux, 13.13. And in the fourth spot is Rick Main at a 13.18. And rounding out the top five, Scott Riome at a 13.20. So we're set to go for our first feature of the night, 30 laps. Again, who will be the champion? From the looks of it, it will be Sam Bachman, but things could change in an instant. Who knows what will happen? Bachman and Grandy are your championship contestants. Here's a look at the starting lineup. On the pole, the Bruin to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 5.13. To his outside, Slide Job Scotty, Scott Riome in the 4. Row number 2, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer in the 83. To his outside, it's 100 grand, Joseph Grandy in the 5.18. Row 3, the Bandit, Randall Dixon in the 11. Next to him, it's Brian Moore Sr. in the 55. And in row 4, it's Putt Putt, Clay Christopherson in the 51. To the outside, it's Sam Bachman, the Sam Akonda in the 007. Rounding out the top 10, it's Randy Shreves in the 56. And the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux in the 75. Row number 6, it's Dean Reynolds in the 79, and Kelly Wheeler in the 110. Row number 7, it's Harold Klump in the 2, and Bob DeGood, who is outside in the 7. Starting 15th, row 8, John DeBias in the 21. Next to him, Rick Main in the 187, last week's Renegades winner. Row number 9, Scott Sinacker in the 143. Actually, a no call for him to grid. Next to him, Bud Molyneux in the 883. Final car on the grid, it's B-Temp, Brandon Templeton in the 31. Pick to win here this evening, I am going to go with the driver of the 83. Dittmer looked really fast in the heat. He was really key in making passes. So I'm going to go with the Spider Monkey to take the checkered flag tonight. iRacing Pace Truck, Steve King Foundation Pace Truck on a pit road. And for the first time tonight, it is time to shake and bake. Jeff Barker, Scott Riome, the front row, bring us to green for championship night. It's time to get it on. Flatline Racing Bodies, green flag is out. Solid bit of contact between, I believe it was Dixon and Brian Moore Sr. Lap 1 at the line, give it to Scott Riome in the 4. 2 by 2 amongst the front 4 as they go into turns number 3 and 4. Riome up top, Barker on the bottom, Grandy upstairs, Dittmer downstairs. Riome able to clear the 513 for the lead. Grandy trying to challenge around the outside. Those were the two that battled for the Heat 1 win for the pole position. Grandy wasting no time. He's already up 2 spots in the second. Dittmer challenging up top for third on the Bird to Beast. Grandy all over that quarter panel of Scott Riome looking for the race lead. On board with 100 grand. Just stays right there on the tail. The front 3 stay single file. Randall Dixon wasting no time. He's already through up to the 4th spot. Clay Christopherson running 6th side by side for 7th. Sam Bachman alongside Brian Moore Sr. Bachman stayed mid-pack. Front 3 staying single file for right now as we watch the race for 7th on the track. Both grooves, low side and middle and the high side, both working really well together. But Bachman had a great bite off at turn number 2. Having to clear Moore Sr. The 7th spot is his. Now in front of him, Christopherson chases down Jeff Barker for the 5th spot as the pole sitter starts to fade. Dittmer all over the bumper of Joseph Grandy for the race for second. A little bit sideways off for turn 4 in the slick stuff. Putt for 5th. Trouble in the back. Rick Mayne around to the 187. Yellow lights are on as we're through the way through this feature. First caution flag flies. Look at the Malcolm's Mills mill running replay and show you what happened to Rick Mayne, the 187. Shreves catches the wall. All is good. Templeton just barely touched him, and Shreves gets more damage there. The impact with Mayne was worse than catching the wall. Right on board with Mayne. Just felt that slight tap from behind as then Shreves just gets him there. Bud Molyneux on pit road, the 883. Don't know if he suffered damage or what. That may have been the case, or just a quick tire switch, not too sure. Meanwhile, Scott Rayom trying to figure out what line he wants to go in. We're just having fun trying to make this look like a Delaware double file restart. Set for our first restart of the night. Rayom and Grandy, row 1. Dittmer, Dixon, row 2. Barker, Christofferson, row 3. Bachman, Giroux, row 4. Wheeler and Moore Sr. round out the top 10. Biggest mover, Brandon Templeton up 6 spots. He restarts 13th. We're back to green. Front 3. Hold the bottom. Hold the berm for right now. And Scotty able to pull away. Jeff Barker wants a podium spot back, but oh wow, we actually are back under the yellow flag. And we had Randy Shreves, John Tobias. I didn't hear in my ear that we went back under the yellow. It was on the restart, Randy Shreves, John Tobias in the back. There's a stack up there, all is good. Ooh, Shreves gets yeeted by Bob DeGood, that sends him sideways. And where did John Tobias get involved in all this? Right on board the 21. Was committed and around he went. Committed up top, did not expect the checkup by DeGood into Randy Shreves, and around went the number 21. So this should be a single file restart coming up here. Lights are off. We'll actually try this double file restart once again. Chad Cote checking in. Good to see you. Hopefully you finish second in the championship tonight as we're back to green. Does it look like that? Looks like that Blake Chapman has the championship done for, but hey, you never know what happens. So I guess I'll just rephrase it. Chad, in general, good luck to you tonight. Rayom hanging on to the lead. Grandy at the line, edging out Dittmer for the second spot. But Grandy can't find its way underneath Rayom for the race lead as Dittmer is still there down in Mama's basement. The 518 able to clear. Now tries to attack the... I'm trying to read that. The Tetanus Express is what he's calling it now. Not the FTM Express anymore. The Tennis Express as we're halfway home. 15 up, 15 down. Grady looking for the race lead. Sends it in turns number 3 and 4. Decides not to throw the slide job on Scott Rayol. He'll play her safe and slot back in line. A nice angle on corner right to set it up. But look at Dittmer. 3 wide for the race lead. And now Dittmer's got company. Randall Dixon and Clay Christopherson get into this. Look at this gaggle of cars in the turn number 1. Grady for the top spot on Scott Rayol. Kenny Clear hits the berm. Slide job for the race lead. Rayol gives him the bumper. New leader, it's Huntergren at the line. Dittmer through to second. So Rayol loses 2. Does not want the yellow flag to come out right now. Instead, got to make the pass here on Dittmer, but he's got to deal with Christopherson and Dixon at the same time. And look at Trevor Giroux. Where'd he come from in the 75? He started 10th. He's up to 6th. And Sam Bachman's trying to get his car to come to life as well, the 007. A lot of jockeying around for position. 10 laps to go. Battle on for 4th. Christopherson and Dixon. They nearly touched. Bachman looking to slot a hole in line. They were 4 abreast for just a moment in turn number 4. Not exactly 4 wide though. Dixon gives Christopherson the bumper. Bachman forced to lift. Wow, this is going on. We still got a race for the lead here. Dittmer all over Joseph Grandi. And with 8 laps to go, the cream is starting to rise to the top. '83 following the 518. I know how badly he wants that Monday night win. Especially in open 358s with 6 laps to go. They've pulled away from Rayom and Christopherson. Nothing can stop these two at this point. Grady looking for win 3 on the season. Just hoping Bachman fades a lot more to try and get a championship. Coming to the line. 3 laps to go for Joseph Grandi. Dittmer, though, not giving up. He's trying to set this up and see where he's better. Nice diamond through 3 and 4 for the Spider Monkey. He says Grandi's time is up and Dittmer's time is now, but has to wait. Tuck it back in line. Carling separate the top 2. Dittmer just about sparks the wall through 3 and 4. Grandi opens up a little bit of breathing room with 2 sticks in the air. Up the hill goes Joseph Grandi, but got a good exit off of turn 2. This time by off of turn 4. White flag waves on the final lap. Joseph Grandi, the Inferno Motorsports 518, makes his way through 3 and 4. Dittmer tries to send it. It won't work. Joseph Grandi wins the battle, but off of turn number 4, Sam Bachman, I believe, wins the war. It should stand for Sam Bachman as the champion. We'll double check everything and make sure all is good. But in the end right now, it's Sam Bachman that takes it home as Dino comes by, same with Bob DeGood to congratulate everyone. Dino trying to photobomb like what he did to me at Weed Sport, if you saw that. Here's the results for this race. Grandi wins by just under a half second on Brandon Dittmer. By the way, for Brandon as well, that's his best ever finish in Open 358. So good for him. That's pretty cool to see. Rayom 3rd, Christopherson 4th. Randall Dixon, that's the top 5. Biggest mover on the night. The man up 4 spots. 2 men actually up 4. Harold Klump up 4 to 9th, and Rick Main up 4 to 12th. And that's how they all finished. Give it up for the Open 358s. They put on a really good show to start off tonight, and the sprint cars got a lot of work cut for themselves. So, we've got your top 3. We're going to try and talk with, hopefully, Sam Bachman in just a little bit. But let's get to the man that finished in third, and that was Sly Job Scotty. Scott Rayome, how much fun was that race from your perspective tonight?
A little stressful, honestly, when it's such a hard track to pass at. There's only one way you can really pass, and that's like how Joe got me. So good run by Joe and good run by Brandon. I lost all my momentum when he threw that. And it's kind of where I ended up. I don't know if I really had the car to win. I might have had enough if those cautions didn't come out, but that's racing. It's racing at Huset's.
It really is. Obviously a tight track, not a lot of room to try and make passes. So definitely can understand that. But where did you feel your car was good at tonight as a whole?
Bottom 1 and 2, top 3 and 4. I felt my biggest goal on the initial start was just beat Jeff coming out of turn 2. Because I knew I had the top in 3 and 4. And during warm-ups, that's where my car was most comfortable and the fastest was top 3 and 4. So I knew if I could at least be side-by-side with him and get him into 3 and 4, I was probably going to be able to get him coming off from 4. And essentially that's how it ended up. It's just unfortunate those cautions came out, and Joe Brandy's he's fast in everything he drives. And watching Brandon in his heat race, he had that bottom figured out pretty good. So I knew they were going to be tough. If maybe if the cautions didn't come out, it might have been a different story. But that's racing. We'll take it. And to come up here and talk to you, Marty. Anytime you get to do that, that's always a good time.
Absolutely, man. Who do you want to give shout-outs to on the run?
First, I got to thank Sam for the for winning the championship this year. Dino finished in second. All the guys over at FTM. You for doing these broadcasts. Dean at Super Dirt Car. Expert Insulation. Tony's wife Sherry. Dino's girlfriend Megan. The usual. And everybody at Coast to Coast for giving us a platform to race on.
Well, great job tonight, Scott. Well done. And I don't know, will we see you in Rebels later tonight? Or are you done for the rest of the night?
Nah, why not? I'll do it.
Oh yes, there you go. Great job. Best of luck.
I still got beer in the fridge. Why not?
Why not? Indeed. There you go. Scott Rayome, third place finisher here tonight. We'll see him later on in the Rebels in just a bit. Hang on a second. Give me one moment. Oh yeah, Scott, real quick. I hate to break the fourth wall. Can you get Bachman to come in, please?
Yeah, I'll try. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks. There we go.
Yep.
All right. So we can confirm, by the way, Sam Bachman, your champion over Joseph Grandy, 696 to 667. But let's go to Brendan Dittmer, second place finisher here tonight. BD, you look like you had the fastest car out there. What more did you need for Joseph?
Him for just to make one simple mistake. That's all I needed. I had a couple chances, or I could get a good run, but just nothing to put it into fruition.
How were you trying to set the pass up on Joseph?
I was really trying to bait him to go a little lower into the entry of 3 and 4, lose his momentum coming out, so I could get underneath him going into 1 and 2. But I just unfortunately just could not get him to pull. He was getting that middle of 1 and 2, giving him a really good run out of 2 into 3, and I just couldn't catch him.
Well, I'll give you credit, though. This is your best ever finish in this Open 358 series, being out of 4th. Still a great run. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Oh, don't tell me. I hate these things, but here at Houston, I just wanted that dang win. I got to thank you for the broadcast, everybody behind the scenes for Coast to Coast. Not crap, who made this design? I forget. I feel like crap. Training Wheels Racing, all the guys over there. Everybody that raced put on a great show. Only 2 cautions. Fantastic for the championship night. That might be it.
All right. Well, great run tonight. Best of luck in Renegades later on, all right?
Thank you.
So that's Brandon Dittmer, our second place finisher. Well, let's go to Victory Lane. Talk with your winner. Unfortunately, wasn't enough. However, though, still a great performance by Joseph Grandy. A win's a win, though, man. That was not easy holding off Dittmer. How'd you do it?
More or less, I guess him letting me. He didn't try anything crazy. He could have gave me a good bump and run or something like that. Decided not to. Yeah, it was Husitz. Husitz races like Husitz, pretty locked down for the most part. Got to hope for a mistake or, force a move.
But I got to tell you what, that was a lot of fun to watch, without question. We had 5 cars battling for the lead at one point. And take me through that slide job on Scott Rayome.
I meant to hit it a little cleaner, but I hit the berm a little bit. So I assume he had to slow down a little bit more than he planned on it. But yeah, I mean, I went for it. I was trying to hit a couple lanes higher than him and coming out at 2, hoping he would swap up to do what I was doing. That's exactly what he did. So I went back to the bottom of 2 and got a run on him and went for the slider.
Well, still a great run for you tonight, that's for sure, Joseph. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
All the guys over at Inferno, Catalytic Recovery, West End Towing and Repair, Hinkle Homes, D&T Designs, AJ Custom Creations, Mad Rabbit, my girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and appreciate me for doing broadcasts.
All right, Joseph. We'll let you go. Congratulations. We'll see you later on tonight in Renegades, all right?
Thanks.
So that's Joseph Grandy, your race winner. But let's go to the man of the hour. Let's bring in your Open 358 champion, Sam Bachman. Yeah, show off that whip, Sam Akonda. How's that feel?
Feels pretty good to win the championship. I mean, there's a good group of guys here. Nobody here is a slouch, really, so feels pretty good.
What performance would you say really stood out to you this season as a whole? Amongst your 3 wins.
I guess my qualifying. I mean, guys in the chat have been, every time they're qualifying, they've just been, where's the line, Sam? Because I feel like that's really helped me out a lot since you get those little bonus points or whatever. But it seems like qualifying for sure.
Well, you were second quickest tonight in time trials, so there's a reason why the guys at FTM count on you in the qualifying. But more importantly, the racing side, you were able to get some good finishes out of it. 3 wins, not a bad season for you. How are you going to celebrate this one tonight?
I'll probably go talk to the boys and see what they want to do. Maybe I guess I don't really know what we're going to do, to be honest, but I don't know, probably celebrate a little bit.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the run and the season. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
All the boys over at FTM, Gunner at Swan Speed Shop. He's really been working hard on the dig for us. Got 3 wins with his sets, so it's pretty good. Dean over at Super Dark Car Series, Expert Installation, Marty, you for broadcasting, and Coast to Coast.
Well, enjoy this one, man. Congratulations. You are our Open 358 champion for the spring.
Thank you.
So there you go. Sam Bachman gets it done. Congratulations on his title reign this season. We're going to step aside, take another commercial break. When we come back, Rebels action on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. it's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
Bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Right when we were talking about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network as the Rebels are set to take shape here at Houston Speedway. Our Rebels brought to you by the Salty Dogs Race Team. Bryce Callow with you on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Glad you could join us. Here's the championship situation. One race left to go, and it's come down to Steven Fernberg and Brian Moore Sr. 31 points back is the 55 in second. Will be a tough comeback here for Brian Moore Sr. From the looks of it, should morph. Obviously, with 2 drops in effect, should Moore get the win. I'm just double checking, make sure all my stuff here is correct. It's a 15-point difference, so I'm actually apologies for that. That would, I believe, mean that Fernberg would have the championship clinched in 2 minutes. So we better hope that we don't have 7 people show up. Or in 3 minutes, I should say. Correction. So qualifying is underway. Get the first driver here on the racetrack. And that's Shaggy Zach Chapman in the 72. Will actually be going to his first big block race in person this week with the Super Dirt Car Series down in PA at Big Diamond in Salinsgrove. He'll be hanging out with Dean Reynolds this week. I'd make the trip out. Unfortunately, the logistics side of things for my weekend plans between and 2 just don't really work in my favor. So no plans this week to head to the big blocks. Alrighty, Zach Chapman after lap number 2, 10:86 on lap number 1, better at 10:846 that time by. Here comes Brian Moore Sr. off at turn number 4. His lap time just a bit slower, 11:04. Steven Fernberg, third quick, and the provisional champion for right now. Better in sector 1's a good enough, no off by 600ths. Don't believe we'll get a time here from Clay Christopherson in qualifying, so we'll show you the full times here on your screen. Zach Chapman the quickest, 10:846. Brian Moore Sr. second, 10:869. Stephen Fernberg third, 10:895. Steve Bixler is fourth, 10:93. Scott Riom fifth, 10:955. And John Tobias 6:11, 7:48. Clay Christopherson, the only driver that has not qualified. Let's check in on the chat, see who you all are rooting for. Stephen Fernberg actually checking in, rooting for Goose during the 358 race, although he's rooting for him later on tonight. And Anthony will be running Thursday, so it'll be good to see the Magic Ant-Man run small blocks and big blocks. Chad Cote rooting for Fernie. I like that. Well, it looks like Fernberg's got a really good chance to win this championship tonight. Just saw something from Dittmer. He actually just sent me a text. He said, got home at 5, made it in this session with 1 minute to spare. Remember, he's from Iowa, so I believe, yeah, it's 1 hour from us. 1 minute to spare and still pulled a second with no setup. Wow. Now that's impressive. That is damn impressive. So here we go for our lone heat of the night, brought to you by Gambler Motorsports for the Rebels. Here is how they line up. So this is basically a 38-lap feature with a break after lap 8. The mayor, Steve Bixler, on the pole in the 75. To his outside, Stephen Fernberg in the 29. Row number 2, Brian Moore Sr. in the 55. Next to him, it's Shaggy Zach Chapman in the 72. Row number 3, it is John Tobias in the 21. To his inside, it's Slide Job Scott Riom in the 4. The final car on the grid is Putt Clay Christopherson in the 51. Winner of this 8-lap heat on pole tonight. And don't forget as well, we've got your top 5 at the end of the feature. Move up to Renegades pending IL. Coming to the green this time by. So here we go for our lone heat race of the night for the Rebels division.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out. Heat 1 is go. Fernberg low sideways off at turn 2. Hangs on to the race lead for right now. Steve Bixler wants it back. He lets Zach Chapman have second. It's the top 5 all just about single file for right now. Side by side for fourth between Rayom and Moore Sr. But here comes Shaggy. Zach Chapman looking for the lead on Steven Fernberg. Can't grab it off turn 4 just yet. And now Bixler testing out the top. Can he rip the lip off at turn 2? He cannot. Rayom wants to grab third for the mayor. Will be tough to do so though. Now it's wing to wing off at 2 for the race lead. Here comes Zach Chapman on Steven Fernberg. We know low side was the place to be for the modifieds, I believe. Here though, you want to be right up on the cushion with the Spurs tonight. One up in the wall, it's Steve Bixler. As he rolled the wall in 1 and 2, that puts him down to last. Actually, check that down to 6th. Clay Christopherson off pace at the 51. He'll drop out of it. But we still watch the battle for the race lead. 2 laps to go. Chapman is going to send it here. Thought about the slide job. It doesn't work. Still watching the race for third. Rayom has it over Brian Moore Sr. Not the start that Sr. wanted in this one. Final lap for the provisional champion, Steven Fernberg, as he's down the back, entering turns number 3 and 4. Fernberg on pole tonight for the 30-lap feature. Chapman second, Rayom third, Moore Sr. fourth, Bixler fifth, DeBias in 6th, and 7th was Putt Putt. Let's step aside and catch a commercial break. When we come back, it is showtime right here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Warm-ups continuing here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Zach Chapman the quickest at 11:032. Steven Fernberg second, 11:14. Scott Rayom third, 11:18. Brian Moore Sr. fourth, 11:19. And Steve Bixler rounds out the top 5 at 11:32. Second to 3 races here tonight. as we'll have our Renegades finale later on in about maybe, if all goes right, around half hour, 45 minutes or so. So we're ready to meet the field for our second race of the night. Let's meet the field and give you your starting lineup. On the pole, Steven Fernberg in car number 29. To his outside, Shaggy Zach Chapman in the 72. Row number 2, Slide Job Scotty, Scott Rayome in the 4. To his outside, it's Brian Moore Sr. in the 55. The third row, the Mayor, Steve Bixler in the 75. Next to him, John Tobias, the 21. Rounding out the grid, it's Putt Clay Christopherson in the 51. Picks to win this evening, I'm going to go with my booth boy. Give me Shaggy starting second tonight. Lights are off this time as we are 1 to green. Second feature of the night, 30 laps. Top 5 transfer to Renegades, pending IL. For the second time tonight, it is time to shake and bake. Steven Fernberg, Zach Chapman, bring us to green. Time to get it on with the Rebels. Flatline Racing bodies green flag as the field makes their way off at turn 4. Zach Chapman leads the opening lap. Fernberg second, company downstairs for the spot in Brian Moore Sr. Fernberg hangs on to that position for right now. Scott Rayome fourth, Steve Bixler rounds out the top 5, but Shaggy trying to increase that lead already. He's just hanging on, though, to the baby bottom for right now, testing that out. Let's watch the race for third here as Rayome all over the tail tank of Brian Moore Sr. for P3. On board with Slide Job Scotty. Was big upset win. A couple weeks ago at Charlotte was his first ever win in a sprint car in Coast to Coast. The upset heard around the world, I guess you could say. Good race for fifth as well. That final spot up for grabs. Bixler goes sideways in the center of 1 and 2, allows Christopherson to take away the 5th spot. 6 laps in, Zach Chapman leading Steven Fernberg. Half second, Fernberg kisses the wall. This allows Brian Moore Sr. to look downstairs for the race lead. That won't work though. Off the corner. Rayome now challenging Moore again for third. Rayome with company for fourth, his FTM teammate and Clay Christopherson. 3 cars under a blanket in the battle for the third spot. Bottom step of the podium on the line. Putt for fourth. Contact between the teammates. And they both hang on to it for right now. Rayome's got to understand these are not modifieds. They don't have fenders on them. All the wheels here are exposed in such a light strength to weight ratio. Bixler clipping the wall once again in the background. Here goes Putt for third. Catches Brian Moore Sr. That was a slider from hell. He moves up to third. And Moore ain't going to be pleased about that. He's facing Bixler for fifth. And Moore goes up on his side. Both of them go around. Side over side goes the 75. That should bring out the first yellow of the race. No, yes, it does. Bixler and Moore got together. First yellow out just before the halfway point. So it just comes up to Morris Senior. They just lean on each other. Around he goes. First yellow flying here before halfway. First double file restart coming up. Chapman and Fernberg, row 1, Rayome and Christofferson, row 2, and John Tobias now rounds out the top 5. Moore and Bixler both back on the racetrack as they used quick repairs. Here we go for the restart. Chapman on the bottom. He goes late. Here we go. And he immediately checks out the hotel. Putt looking for second on Steven Fernberg. Slide job on the 29, and Fernberg counters. And now Rayome looks to close into this race for second. Christofferson looking to go from worst to first, trying to pull the second version of the Chastain. The first, that's the Hail Melon. Nice drive off turn 2 from Putt. Trying to birdie a second spot. Zach Chapman still leads with 13 to go. That gap now starting to slow down a little bit. As Putt closing in. Here's a look at the last 5 laps. Last time by, Christofferson cut down a quarter of a second. And he's in striking distance. Oh, trying to look underneath, but the car got really sideways from underneath them. Let's go to the race for third. Fernberg and Rayome go to battle. Fernberg hanging on to third for right now. Still watching this race for the lead with 8 laps to go. Chapman versus Christofferson. Let's go on board with the 51. Looking underneath for the race lead. Wing to wing. Slide job. Putt. Christofferson goes to the point. 6 laps to go. Chapman counters it back. He wants to turn. Houston's in a slide job city. Here goes Christofferson once again. He's got the clearance. Do we have a new leader of the line? Yes, we do. It's Clay. But now Chapman trying to get the bite off the corner. They may stay side by side. Chapman's got it. He tries the slide job possibly. No, he gives Putt the room. And at the line is Putt again with 4 to go. Up the wall went Tobias. He pulls to the infield. We stay green. Chapman, does he try the slider? No, he wants the bite off for turn 4. Shaggy back out front with 3 to go. This is some damn good stuff. On board again with Chapman. Opens the door for Christofferson. They lead. Oh no! Chapman 360. Christofferson pulls to a stop. Fernberg to the lead with 2 to go. What the hell just happened? Christofferson thought he had the lane. Ah! So you watch another look at it. Thought he had it and just touches with Chapman and Christopherson did not like that he did that, so out of sportsmanship, he says, I'm going to pull to the rear. And, that's just been what this season's been like for Shaggy this season. He has not been able to get a win with a very fast car as well. And now we could see either Steven Fernberg win his first race of the season in grand style and win the championship, or we'll see Scott Rayome get 2 wins in the Rebels. Well, this is going to get interesting now with the green-white checkered coming up. Can see Steven Fernberg take the win here. And if he were to win, it would be his first ever win in the Rebels division. He's finished second 3 times this season. It would also be his first ever coast-to-coast win if he can get it done. Let's see what happens. He holds serve down the back chute. Oh, Rayome send it there into turn number 3 and 4, continues to rip the lip. White flag waves, final lap underway. Fernberg uses the slider line. Rayome fading down the back chute for the final time. Steven Fernberg, not only a Rebels champion, but we got a first-time winner! Steven Fernberg gets the sticker, and he gets the trophy to come away with it. Rayome second, Moore third, Pixler fourth, Chapman comes back to finish 5th. And they're all in the show pending IL. Good for Steven Fernberg, ladies and gentlemen. He is a Rebels champion. Obviously, the heartbreak of the night has to go to Zach Chapman and Clay Christopherson. That looked a little similar to those of you that watch Land of Legends weekly. Looked a little bit similar to what happened in the 305 sprint feature Saturday night when Randy Ears got sideways in front of Bobby Perro and took the top 2 out of it. And so we'll bring your top 3 all in here. We don't have more in just yet, so I guess we'll... Nope, we do have more. So we can get the proceedings started, and we'll start things off with, if I can get the mouse moved in here, we'll start things off with Brian Morris Sr. Brian, take me through your race as a whole.
The car was good. It felt fine. It was hooked up all night. I could go wherever I wanted to go, but yeah, it's just... I didn't want to get up there and bump around with them guys, so I kind of let a couple of them go when they'd show me a wheel inside. So, and I don't know what happened there at the end, man. I felt like this podium finish was kind of handed to me. So, but I'll take it, man. Got to get them any way we can.
You absolutely will. A great run though for you. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Just my brother Rick and his wife Rona and Salty Dogs, man, for giving us a place to run, for sponsoring this deal, and Coast to Coast, and Marty, you for doing the announcing and all the work everybody puts on behind the scenes in Coast to Coast, man. I just got to give them a big thank you.
All righty, man. We'll let you go. Great job tonight, and we'll see you next season.
All right, great. Thank you, Marty.
Brian Moore Sr., your 3rd place finisher. And now we head to our runner-up in Scott Rayome. Let's see if we get the mouse moved up here perfectly. There we go. Well, not bad of a choice, Scotty, to run the Rebels.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't be up here talking to you right now if, that incident between Clay and Shaggy didn't happen. But, the car felt really comfortable for once. And I don't know, maybe I'm figuring something out. But I know I'll apologize to Zach, to Shaggy for Clay, because Clay, I have never heard Clay so mad at himself in Discord ever before than just what happened right there. So he felt terrible. So the Shaggy, Clay definitely didn't mean to do that. He hates it. So, but yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. It's just something about these small tracks that I'm actually not terrible at. I don't know. I didn't have a car to win. I didn't have a top 3 car, obviously, but figuring it out a little bit at a time. Dean yells at me all the time. You're still learning in these things, man. You can't expect to go out there and win every damn race.
Well, you got a win out of it. You nearly got 2 wins out of it. Great job. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
All the guys over at FTM. Dean at Super Dirt Car. DJ Sim Shops. Expert Installation. Christ, I don't know, man. You for doing these broadcasts. Salty Dogs for sponsoring this. All the guys over at Coast to Coast.
Alrighty, we'll let you go. Great job. Great season for you, man. And we'll talk to you soon down the road, all right?
All right, Marty.
Scott Ray, I'm going to enjoy a beer tonight, but let's get to the man of the hour, perhaps. I think I lost my mouse. Nope. Sorry, I got to pull iRacing up so I don't lose my mouse. There we go. Let's talk to the champion, and more importantly as well, in my opinion, more importantly, a first-time coast-to-coast winner, Steven Fernberg. You did it. How's it feel?
It feels really good. Like I was saying to some of the other guys, I was talking to Goose a few weeks ago. I'm like, man, I'm consistently in the top 3. I just cannot get that win.
But, man, that's got to feel good as a whole. The win and the championship on the same night.
Oh, it does, especially the win on a track I have 0 laps on.
Take me through what happened from your perspective and what happened between Zach and Clay and then avoiding that wreck. What were you thinking inside your head?
The few laps before, the only way I was thinking, the only way I was going to catch them if they happened to get together sliding each other, because they were sliding each other pretty hard. And then when they came, they were just fighting for the same real estate pretty much there. There was nothing at fault there. It was just they were fighting for the same line.
And then what are you thinking inside your head as we're going back to grid? Do you think Rayon may have had something for you possibly?
I was trying not to think about that. I was trying to think about hitting my lines and defend.
Well, you still had a very fast ride. How are you going to celebrate this one?
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm going to go try to do good in the Renegades next and just keep this going, the momentum going for next season.
Well, enjoy it, that's for sure. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
I want to give the shout-outs to you for doing the broadcast, Salty Dogs for sponsoring the league, all the guys over at American Dirt Motorsports, and then all of our sponsors, Finish Line Race Design, Boss Hog Off-Road, Bonehead Podcast, and Equipment Geek. Just everybody over there supports us and keeps us going.
Well, enjoy this, man. Congratulations on a great run and a great win. Great season, Steven.
Hey, thank you so much.
And we may see you later tonight in Renegades?
Yes, I'll be there. I'm
awesome.
Going to be trying to stay consistent.
Sounds good. Steven Fernberg, your Rebels champion and a first-time winner. We'll step aside and go to break. Stay with us. Renegades coming up next on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. it's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight when we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, final night, our final race is set to go here. Our Renegades, which are brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Marty Sakala back with you here on the call. Let's see who's checking in as we wait things to get going. Shaggy says I'm not safe even when I'm leading. Yeah, it's been bad luck for you this year, Shags. It's not final until the fat lady sings and the checkered flag waves. So, if you're watching, by the way, just tune in. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marty Sakala. Let us know who you're rooting for. Gary checking in. Gary Spangler is always rooting for Patrick, and we're ready to go for our final qualifying session of the season for Monday Night Madness. Again, Blake Chapman has already clinched the championship. His gap not up for Chad Koteta. Cut down, up 98 on the Goose. First starter we'll watch on the Speedway. We'll watch his car. It's for sale. He's getting a new one next season. It's the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer. He's been bringing back a lot of the old schemes. He brought back the Pizza Ranch scheme last week. He's brought back this one. What's he going to bring back for week 1? My face on it or something? Dittmer ballparking with a 10.937. Comes Joseph Grandi off for turn number 4. Dittmer purple in sector 2. I went 10.90. Here comes Brian Moore off for turn 4. He's third quickest in qualifying, 11.302 on lap number 2. Patrick Spangler up to second quick in qualifying at 11.034. Here's Jeff Barker, the Bird to Beast, in the 5.13. 11.231 on lap number 1. Lap number 2, he is green in sector 1. Is it good enough? Yes, it is. Fourth quickest, 11.106. Blake Chapman just wrapped up lap number 1, and he goes second quick, 10.932. He just needs a purple in sector 1 and maybe a better purple in sector 2. He's green in sector 1. He's purple in sector 2, but it's not quick enough. Oh, a 10.91. I believe that was a 10.910. Here's Stephen Golder off for turn 4. Slower on lap number 2, but he's fourth quickest at 11.04. Here's the boss, Ross Carina, on lap number 1 of qualifying. The boss's first lap, third quick, 11.031. Good to see this man back with us. Dylan Berg at the number 14. I believe his first Renegade start of the year, and a lot of Rebels with us. 19th quick on lap 1, 11.31. Carina's second lap, 10.983, puts him up to third. Here comes Berg off for turn number 4. Is his second lap time better? Yes, it is. Where does he go? Ninth quick for Berg. Great lap for him, 11.145. And so that does it for qualifying. Dittmer the quickest, 10.904, followed by Blake Chapman, Ross Carina, Patrick Spangler, and Stephen Goldner. So set to go. Heat race number 1. And we got just about a full field here for this heat. So we're set to go. Here's a look at the starting lineup. Is on the pole, Gentleman Jack Hitt in the 217. To his outside, the Bird to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. Row 2, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39. To his outside, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer in the 83. Row 3, Brad Waite in the 814. Next to him, it's Shaggy Zach Chapman in the 72. And the final row, you've got Scott Rayom. Slide job, Scotty. Going to take a Renegades crack at this one. Looking for 3 podiums in one night. And next to him, it's the Pink Panther, Jesse Exon in the 127. So as we wait for all of them to grid, let's take a look at the schedule. What's coming up the rest of the week for Championship Week? Tomorrow night, retreads Tuesdays. Hadasucket iRacing has 358s and DW12s at Lernerville and Talladega, respectively. All starts at 7 o'clock. Wednesday at 7, the Hometown Heroes. I-55 to determine that. 305s, 360s midget. Shaggy's got the call for that. Thursday Night Thunder. Small blocks and big blocks at Cedar Lake. Adam Flieger has the call at 7 o'clock, then hands it over to Zach Chapman around 8:30 for the Pro Late Models. All that you can watch right here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Winner of this heat race starts on pole position. Just want to make sure that we got 24 here with us. Yep, under 24, so it's 22, the final car count for tonight with the Renegades. Everyone makes the show. More importantly, though, the winner of this race starts on pole position for our 35-lap feature. Steve King Foundation Pace Truck is on pit road. Green flag waves for Heat 1. Here we go. Nearly 3 wide for the race lead is Hit and Barker. Side by side through the corner. Hit opens up the door for Spangler. They're 3 wide for second. As Barker leads lap number 1. Spangler, slight contact with Jack Hit. Everybody hangs on to it. Still 3 wide now for the third position. Zach Chapman, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies, trying to take away third. Brandon Dittmer knows that line as well. He's cleared Spangler. The second spot is his. Kenny grabbed the lead from Jeff Barker. Dittmer having one heck of a night so far tonight. A lot of contact between Axon and Chapman. Everybody hangs on. 3 wide for the race lead. Attention Kmart shoppers. Spangler just went 2 for 1. And the high side, Bangler out to the point. But now the training wheels teammates go side by side. What can Dittmer do in the piece of junk? Big slider from the 83. Spangler counters it back. Dittmer leads that lap as we have 3 to go in Heat 1. In third, Barker fourth. Atkinson rounds out the top 5. Zach Chapman's dropped to the rear after I believe he caught the wall early on. And Spangler's run away with this one. 10:99 last lap, quickest lap that anyone's had in this race. As he makes his way through 3 and 4 checkered waves. The high side banger on the pole for tonight. Dittmer second, Barker third, Hit fourth. Atkinson fifth, Rayom sixth, Wade seventh, Zach Chapman in eighth. We now move on to heat race number 2, brought to you by Regency Home Inspection. Heat 1 was brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. The starting lineup has the Goose, Chad Cote on pole position in the 11 to his outside, Brian Moore Sr. in the 55. Row number 2, Steven Goldner in car number 30 to his outside, Shaggy. Excuse me, not Shaggy. That's the salesman, Blake Chapman in the 20. Row number 3, Bob DeGood in the outside of the 7 to his inside, Dean Reynolds in the 79. Final car on the grid, Barry Goldner in the 36. You can find my text messages here. Dino was telling me his throwback goes back to 1982. That's a Rick Ferkel scheme. It's a nice ride that Dino's got tonight. It's got the old World of Outlaws logo on the front wing. What else has got on it? I'm trying to see. But nah, regardless of it, I like it. Winner starts on the outside of the front row. So it's the Goose and Moore Sr. that will bring us to the green flag. Blake Chapman starting 4th here. Can we see a Spangler Chapman firm? We'll have to see. Cote looking to finish 2nd in the championship. Regardless, though, it's been a heck of a season for the Gooses. We're green. He's 6 points in front of Joseph Grandy coming into the night as he leads lap number 1. Golder trying to take that race lead back while Chapman lurks underneath. Good battle for fifth to good. New ride under that number 7. Reynolds takes it away. Here goes Golder looking for that race lead off for 4. Can't make the pass work. Now here comes Chapman for the quicker cars on the racetrack. Golder, though, quickest last time by 11:13. All 11 ones by the top 3 at the moment. Everyone on back, 11 6s or so. Golder underneath. Thought about the slide job. Cote able to clear. A lot of yaw through 1 and 2 for the 30. Cote nearly clips the wall, but Golder did, but it gained a lot of speed off for turn 4. Looks steep. Too much yaw again. Cote riding the wall in the back chute. Here comes the Salesman trying to take away second spot. Off the corner, Blake has P2. 2 laps to go. Wing to wing for the runner-up spot. Up the hill goes Golder. Blake Chapman up to second. Final lap underway. Can Cote hold off Blake Chapman? The top 2 in the championship. Chapman with the championship clinched in Renegades. Checkers wave off for 4. Cote wins heat 2. Chapman second, Golder third, Moore fourth, to good fifth, Reynolds sixth, and Barry Golder seventh. One more heat race left to go, brought to you by Mauer Farm Management, proud partner of our Retreads division. And here's the starting lineup. Rick Mayne on the pole, last week's winner in the 187 to his outside at Stillenberg in car number 14. Row number 2, Joseph Grandy. Nice new paint scheme on the sprint car in the 518. Next to him, it's the boss, Ross Corina, in the 10. Row 3, Randy Shreves. Good to see him back. Good to see him in a new paint scheme as well. Shreves in the 56 to his outside, our Rebels champion, Stephen Fernberg in the 29. Final car on the grid, that's the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in the 161. Should go 1 to green this time by. Winner of the night will start inside of row number 2 in our feature. Green flag is out. Heat race number 3 underway. Mayne and Corina go wing to wing into turn 3. Nice slider for the 187. Does he lead lap toward the line? Yes, he does barely. Corina downstairs trying to get bite off the corner to take the lead away. And there's Mayne still with the top spot, just barely taking it over Corina. Joseph Grandy now starts to close it to try and help the 187. Top 3 all single file for right now. Stephen Furberg at 4th, Terry Landis 5th, Randy Shreve 6th, Dylan Bird not able to take the green flag. On board for a lap here at Joseph Grandy. Gonna run on Rick Mayne. Top speed 105 into turn 1. Corina leading with 2 to go. Main trying everything to close in. Gap at about a half second with 1 to go here in heat race number 3. Boss makes his way through 3 and 4. Checkers wave. Carreno wins it. Main out of fuel 2nd. Grandy 3rd. Fernberg 4th. Landis 5th. And Shreves in 6th. So heat racing is done. Set for warm-ups. We'll go to break, and when we come back, for 35-lap feature on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Stay with us. Under the lights here at Houston's warm-ups, just about finishing up. Ross Corina quickest, 11:507. Stephen Goldner second, and same with Blake Chapman, 11:58. Patrick Spangler fourth, 11:59. And Rick Mayne rounds out the top 5 and 11:66. So we're ready to go for feature time here at Houston Speedway. To determine our final winner of the season, here's a look at the starting lineup. On the pole, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 35. To his outside, the goose, Chad Cote in the 11. Row 2, the boss, Ross Corina in the 10. And the spider monkey, Brandon Dittmer in the 83. Row 3, the salesman, Blake Chapman in the 20. Next to him, Rick Mayne in the 187. Row number 4, the bird to beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. To his outside, Stephen Goldner in the 30. Rounded out the top 10, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. And to his outside, Gentleman Jack Hit in the 217. Row number 6, Brian Moore Sr. in the 55. And Stephen Fernberg to his outside in the 29. Row number 7, the Pink Panther, Jesse X in the 127. And Bob DeGood in car 7. Row 8, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in the 161. And Sly Jeff Scotty, Scott Rayome in the 4. Row number 9, it is Dean Reynolds, Dino in the 79. And Randy Shreves in the 56. Row 10, Brad Waite in the 814, and Barry Goldner in the 36. Final row this evening gives us Dillenberg in the 14 and Shaggy Zach Chapman in the 72. Pick to win here this evening. I'm going to go with Spangler from pole. I think he looks really good tonight. Final feature of the night. We've figured out our champion already. It's Blake Chapman. Now we just have to determine a winner. For the final time this spring, it's time to shake and bake. Because where else would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast? It's showtime at Huset's. Big stack above turn 2 as a lot of drivers clipped the berm. Spangler with the race lead. Cote down to second. Side by side for third. Dittmer edges out Corinna Belap, one of the line, led by the high side banger. Oh, Dittmer really sideways. He catches Rick Main, and then the wall goes the 83, and we wad them up. Parking lot on the backstretch. Chapman, one upside down. It's Grandy. Barry Goldner also involved as well. Get you the replay here. This all started with watch Dittmer in the 83. He gets way too sideways and clips Rick Main, and everyone that was on the straight, back straight next to the wall, just about had nowhere to go. Right on board Joseph Grandy. Stuck up on the wall and is turtled. On board Zach Chapman. Try to miss it. I don't think he took damage. Just got sideways and made a nice save out of it. Single file restart coming to green this time. Spangler, Cote, Corinna, Main, Blake Chapman, the top 5. We're back to green. Give it a hold serve. Battle for second. Here comes Corinna off at turn number 4. The runner-up spot, not his yet. Now we're nearly 3 wide. Main, despite catching contact in that first caution, no damage off the 187. And that may have been Corinna's that time at the stripe. The low line working out for him. Look at Blake Chapman. Trying to go 2 for 1 here this lap. He's past Rick Main. Now wants to get past the Goose and Chad Cote. Not yet. On board the Goose. Man, this is a Hornets nest for the race lead. 5 cars all under a blanket. And Spangler opened up the door. Corinna to the race lead on lap 7. The high side banger trying to fight back on the high side. 2 by 2, the front 5 off for turn 4. Corinna still leading. Spangler angling off turn number 4. Went downstairs. Here comes Blake Chapman. The 2 rivals battle for second, yet good friends. Chapman for P2. Low line working out for the salesman. He loves the low side. He edges out Spangler at the line. Let's go to 4th. This is where Rick Main could shine here. Wing to wing into turn 3. Again, hugging right next to that lower lip. Cote able to clear. There's the race for second, though. Spangler trying to fight back on Chapman. Great racing near the front here at Huset's. It's only lap 12 of 35. Good drive off of 4 from Spangler as he edges out the 20. Chapman trying to get second. Nothing working there. But now he wants the lead on Corinna. Side by side. Nothing there, but now we're about to see some lap traffic for the first time in this race, possibly. First driver is Barry going for the top 3. How's this going to set up? It's worth 3 wide. Spangler up on the wall. Spangler keeps her up top. Cote also top. Blake Chapman all by himself downstairs in Mama's basement. Back on board the high side banger. Nice exit. Can't make the run underneath on the boss, Ross Corinna. Leaders approach Barry Goldner. They decide not to go 3 wide. Keep her single foul to play it safe than sorry. Corinna gets away clean. How will Spangler and Chapman do? Barry Goldner holding his line out of respect. Work lap number 19. Next driver for Corinna, that's Randy Shreves in the 56. Corinna looking for win 2 on the season. Patrick Spangler looking for win 1 of the season. It's been a while since he's been winless in a Renegade season. He wants it badly. Blake Chapman, he's been the man to beat once again with 3. On board with Blake. Again, using the bottom, I think just trying to save tires for right now at the moment. Play it safe than sorry. Second yellow flag with 15 to go, and we got one upside down. I think that's Steven Goldner in the 30, and it is. Look at what happened. It's Goldner's night, and season is done. Oh, just rode the wall in turn 3 and up and over he went. Brad White having to take evasive action as Goldner goes tumbling in turn 4. Lights are off our second yellow of the night. We're going to watch from our aerial shot.
Green.
Back to green. Corinna, man, checked out of the hotel, wasting no time. Chapman is through up to the second spot, past Patrick Spangler, side by side for 4th. Lot of jockeying around, lot of contact. We got one around, it's Fernberg. No yellows, he was on the berm, we stay green. Back up front, Chapman looking for the lead on Corinna. Can he get it off turn number 4? No. In fact, he's got to deal with Spangler for a second. The top 3 once again under a blanket, battling for the lead. Corinna's led all the laps so far after starting 3rd in this one, or most of the laps, I should say. Here comes the salesman. Second half is when it's his time to pounce. Off the quarter, Corinna still leads. He clears Chapman by a car length. 10 laps to go. Chapman may have something working. If the top three get into a wild race, don't forget Chad Cote's in fourth, Jesse Atkinson in the top 5. 8 to go. Still side by side for the lead. Corinna's got to be perfect if he wants to win this. If he makes just one mistake, it will be Blake Chapman's. Six laps to go at the line. 5 fingers and a thumb. Yeah, and Corinna's just showing how perfect. Now Chapman switched to the top. But now you look at those humps in turn 4. Very bumpy. Terry Landis around. Corinna makes the mistake in turn number 2. I think he clipped the wall. Chapman trying to pounce in 3 and 4 for the race lead. Off the corner. I think he got him at the line. 4 laps to go here at Huset's. The Renegades champ trying to end his season with a bang. Now Corinna takes the wall. Slide job by the salesman. Blake Chapman calling it off to the race lead with 3 laps remaining. And he wants to run away with it. But it's not over yet. Corinna trying to fight back. 2 sticks in the air. 2 laps to go. On board with Blake Chapman. The salesman stays downstairs. Corinna trying to fight back up top. Good drive off the corner. Crisscrossed by Corinna. Throws the slide job at Blake Chapman. Off the corner. White flag waves. Final lap of the season. Chapman trying to keep the bite there off at turn number 2. He's got that. He's forcing Corinna up top shelf. A slider by the salesman. Blake Chapman off the corner. Crossover by Corinna. Blake Chapman takes the win and wins the Renegades Championship. Oh, baby, what a race. That may have been the race of the season right there. Corinna second, Spangler third, Atkinson fourth, Rick Main rounds out the top 5. Biggest mover up 10 spots, Dean Reynolds finishing 7th to end the season. So there's your top 20, and then we look at the bottom 2. So let's get to the top 3 finishers here. We'll start things off with Patrick Spangler. Patrick, what a race. Take me through it from your vantage point.
Yeah, it's like my 3rd race at the track. I'm not a huge fan of it, but yeah, I thought the bottom was going to be longer than it was, and then I just couldn't hit the bottom, so I moved up top. Ross already got by me, and then I was just kind of, all 3 of us just kind of hit the same lap times. Ross was running top, middle, bottom. His car was good everywhere. Blake was right around the bottom. And then I got in the groove up top, but anytime I got a run on Ross, I ended up putting in the wall next turn. So the only option I had was go around him because I always had Blake on my inside. And then at the end of the race, they were just pulling away.
What do you take away from this season?
I destroyed a lot of cars this season. Hopefully just go back to doing better in the heat races next season and start up front. And hopefully we can get some momentum going.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Just you for the awesome broadcast the whole season. Jack and Jeff for running the league. Triangles Racing, Jesse with a big win or a big run through the field here. Finish line designs on the wrap here. And Dad, Uncle back home watching.
All right, man. We'll let you go. Great job all season long. We'll talk to you next season.
Sounds good.
Patrick Spangler finishing 3rd. Let's go to the 2nd place finisher and bring in the boss, Ross Corinna. Man, that is a tough break. What did it take from your perspective to try and fight back on Blake?
I think I fought back pretty well. I might have pulled the slider. I should have probably waited the last lap, or at least done it 1 lap earlier, maybe even. But when you're racing guys like Blake and Patrick, you can't make mistakes. And unfortunately for myself, I feel like I made one, and it cost me tonight. But obviously, Blake's a really good racer, so nothing to hang your head about.
How much fun was that race as a whole tonight?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, was it as fun to watch as it was the race? It's fun when you can race guys clean like that, especially if when the lap traffic started to get involved there too. And it'd have been interesting to see if we didn't get that last yellow, just to see if we could get caught up in a little more lap traffic. Just it's just fun to do that. But yeah, no, it was a really fun race.
Who do I give shout-outs to?
Phantom Motorsports guys, M9 Performance, Velocity Race Design, sponsors for the league, Flatline Racing Bodies, you up in the booth for putting on the show, and everybody at Coast to Coast working behind the scenes keeping this thing going.
Alrighty, Matt. We'll let you go. A great year for you. Congratulations on it. Well done. We'll talk to you next season.
Thank you.
The boss, Ross Corinna, finishes second. Now we go to Victory Lane to talk to your winner and your Renegades champion once again, Blake Chapman. How's it feel ending with a bang?
Yeah, it feels really good. Wasn't really expecting to run for much of a championship this season, since I knew I was going to be coming from the back about every week. And, it worked out really well. I was able to stay out of trouble those first couple of weeks, got a couple of wins, and was running up front pretty consistently. And these last couple of weeks I haven't started in the back, but still it's been a lot of fun. And this race was probably the most fun I've had all season long. It was just really, really fun out there, and I lost track of the laps coming down to the checkered there. I thought when my spotter said 2 to go, I thought he said 5 to go. And all of a sudden the white flag was out, and it's like, oh shoot, I better go give it everything I got to win this thing. So, we stuck it on the bottom in 1 and 2, where this car was really good all night long, and then threw the slider in 3 and 4. Hope it stuck out of 4, and it stuck well enough for us to cross the checkers first.
Let's look back at this final lap. Walk me through that pass on Rossi. Threw the slide job on you, then he got him back.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was going to throw the slider or not. Like I said, I thought it was 5 to go, so I saw him throw the slider, so it's like, okay, I'll cross him over. And I knew I was going to hit the bottom in 1 and 2 regardless if he slid me or not. So headed down there, and the car handled really, really well all night long because it's really rough coming out of 2. I don't know if you could see that much on the broadcast. There's quite a few bumps down there, but like I said, the car handled really well through that. And then into 3, we got a good run, and we were able to slide it up through the slick there and catch a cushion coming out of 4. And, once we caught that cushion, we were able to get back on the throttle just enough for us to carry our momentum over the start-finish line.
Well, a great season. Congratulations to you on that. Before we end this, one final thing, sell some stuff for us.
Absolutely. First, I got to thank the parents and grandparents, everyone that's been watching all season long. I got to thank all the guys down at KSR. Shorty wasn't able to make it tonight, but especially Terry for running with me all season long. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring this division. Got to thank Mauer Farm Management and Steve's Custom Golf Clubs. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. There's no better way to celebrate than with some popcorn. And if and of course, you got to go to their website and use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off some of their very delicious popcorn. And I got to thank everyone that puts this league on and makes it so much fun to run in. And I got to thank you for putting the broadcast on, Marty.
Alrighty, well, we'll let you go. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Well done. You deserve it. Great job.
Thanks, Marty.
Blake Chapman, the salesman, once again, Renegades champion. Blake, I'm going to have to have you, my mouse is messing up on me, so I'll have to have you put yourself, there you go. So with that, we bid adieu on this Monday night. It has been one fun season once again, and we will run things back in just about 2 weeks from now. I'm everyone at the Coast to Coast Racing Network, all the fine drivers and sponsors, and our great crew of admins. Marty Scala saying so long. Congratulations to your winners, Joseph Coretti in Open 358, Stephen Fernberg in the Rebels, Blake Chapman in Renegades, and your champion, Sam Bachman in Open 358, Stephen Fernberg in Rebels, and Blake Chapman in the Renegades. Thanks for joining us. So long, everyone.